What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Edit Place, and today is going to be a pretty short one, and we're not actually in any video editing software per se. We're going to be checking out how I basically streamlined my thumbnail creation. So creating thumbnails for YouTube can be very difficult, and on my main channel I tried to make something a little different for each video. So that's kind of a whole separate thing if that's your channel style, but there's a lot of channels that kind of have a very similar, like you want to create this one look and then repetition. And so the inspiration for my recent Edit Place thumbnails was kind of Philip DeFranco. So he's always in the center. He's got whatever he's talking about on the side. Sometimes it's text, sometimes it's people. It kind of varies. And so I wanted to do something like that. But again, for each video, if I were to set it up, it takes a long time. I've streamlined this setup because I always have this light here, always have this camera here, got the mic all set up. So I'm recording, these videos in the matter of minutes when I sit down. And so if I were to then spend twice as long setting up for a thumbnail, felt a little silly. And so basically I decided one day I'm going to take a bunch of those kind of face thumbnail photos. And it was the most ridiculous thing, but it's been very beneficial so far. So if I go in here to my assets, I can see exported thumbnail faces. And then in here, you can see a couple different things. First of all, we have this BRAW file, and this is the way that I shot it once this comes up. So basically, I got a basic lighting setup. And I just went in and you can literally see 10 minutes, I just made a bunch of faces. And then here's the key part is I changed shirts. So I literally brought down like 4 or 5 shirts, something like that. I just changed a bunch, made a bunch of different faces. This is the way people feel when they take like selfies for social media. Whew, not my cup of tea. So of course I took this video clip, went into DaVinci Resolve, color graded it, and then essentially exported a bunch of TIFF files that I then converted to JPEGs. And these are all your very typical YouTube face that just, you want to capture every emotion. Because again, the whole point of this is that it's kind of evergreen no matter the video. So if there's a video about like some super disappointing thing, then you want to make that. I don't know. I don't know what the hood one would be for, but it's kind of loopy at this point. So pointing up to stuff, because again, you may have product right there, or you may have text pointing to it. There's one of the disappointing ones. And something was in my hair. That's fun. All right. Well, that's what Photoshop's for. Speaking of Photoshop, so right here, I have a thumbnail template that I've been using for quite some time. And I have everything organized into folders here. So you can see that I have a folder for my 3 main channels. And so this is an Apps Everyday one, playing around with it. And basically within each folder is these specific assets for that. So for my main channel, I really just have these texts that I can turn on and off. And obviously I change them to whatever text is relevant. And then for very similarly for the Edit Place here, I have a bunch of assets, the same text and arrows, but I also have each of the icons, because depending on what I'm talking about, could be Final Cut, could be Premiere, could be all 3 or 2 of them. And so I can kind of turn them on and off if I want to include them in the thumbnail. And then what I've been doing is usually behind me, if I pick one of these here, I'll go in, sure, let's pick that one. Drag this guy in here, and I put it underneath the Edit Place. I'm going to turn these off for now. And then rather than just having this kind of low gradient backdrop here, what I've been doing is I'll take a screenshot of whatever program I'm working in. So I took a screenshot of a DaVinci Resolve project, maybe that I'm talking about. So I'll drag that in here as well, do a loose stretch, and then I put that actually on top of me. And then I kind of play around with opacity and blending. So let's see, what have I been doing? Maybe lighten, yeah, something like this. And then what I play around with is perspective. And then once I'm happy Then what I'll do is I'll clean it up just so I can remove the stuff around my face. And I do this with a really kind of soft brush. And because the opacity is so low, I don't really have to worry about super fine edges or anything. And so in the matter of like seconds, it looks like a really nice blended background. And then what I could do is go in and turn back on some text, move it around to whatever spot. And I guess I don't really need that arrow. Something like that. In the matter of what? 5-ish minutes, even with me explaining to you what I was doing, I've now created a thumbnail that includes a nice photo, a background asset, and some text. So now I just export it and I'm good to go. So now I can just export it and I just delete whatever assets that I used for this so that it can go back to the nice clean thumbnail template I created. Kids having fun upstairs. All right, on that note, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.